Mad Monster, Arizona. You are all my children now.
Hey guys, Alan here, or Sinister Creations. You wanted to talk about Dylan's New Nightmare. On July 7th at Mad Monster, Arizona, I was able to catch the advanced screening of Dylan's New Nightmare. It was written, directed by Cecil Laird, and it stars Miko Hughes, reprising his role as Dylan Porter from Wes Craven's New Nightmare, released in 1994. Also starring Dave McRae, who's a Canadian voice actor and YouTube personality, who I'm sure a lot of you probably already know. And I have to tell you, for all the people who say if it's not Robert, hashtag not my Freddy, you are in for one hell of a surprise, because not only is the voice there, Dave Land's mannerisms and his personality down to a T. Even after the Q&A, after the screening, he's quoted as saying, "It's not about imitating Robert, it's about honoring Robert." And he does one hell of a job. He portrays Freddy in such a way that it's the first time I've gotten chills from Freddy Krueger since A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. And this is before the MTV Freddy of 3 and 4, and this is before the full-blown Looney Tune Freddy of 5 and 6. He brings it back. He brings it back to 1 and 2. And as for Miko Hughes, he does an incredible performance reprising his role as Dylan Porter. And Miko doesn't get nearly enough recognition, having not been in the spotlight for X amount of years. He went from being a child star to not really doing anything for the last 30 years, and going right back into it with this. And he brings a lot of raw emotion to his character that got a pretty good reaction of a lot of the viewers that were at the advanced screening. And Miko is one hell of an actor, I have to tell you right now. He's a good actor, and he does phenomenally for being away for so long. There's not enough good things I could say about him. He does a great job making you believe that this character is still dealing with all the trauma that he had to go through the last time he had to deal with Freddy, or the demon entity who is taking a liking to Freddy, because you have to remember this is an unofficial sequel to Wes Craven's New Nightmare, and it hits all the check marks. It really does. They even have a voice actress come in and do the voice for Heather Langenkamp, which she nailed. I thought it actually was Heather for a second until they mentioned that it wasn't. So that goes to show you just how well that they did. And Miko Hughes isn't the only familiar face brought back for this fan film. There's a couple familiar faces from the Friday the 13th series, including Ron Sloan from Part 5, A New Beginning. He played the character Junior Hubbard. He was the one in the leather motorcycle cap going, "You tell him, Ma!" And also Cynthia Kenya. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it. She played Annette in Friday the 13th Part 6. Jason Lives. She was one of the couple in the woods when the cemetery caretaker was getting killed. They were having a picnic and he was proposing to her, and then they get killed on the motorcycle. She's in this as a therapist, and she's got a pretty neat character quirk. You'll figure that out when you see the movie itself. Cecil Laird did a phenomenal job with setting the mood and atmosphere, as Dave would like to say. Special shout out to Nora Hewitt, who also applied the prosthetics and makeup to Dave McRae to make the Freddy head. And it's not a mask that he's wearing. It's a full-on 6 to 7 piece latex prosthetic getup. So he's sitting in the chair for a few hours, just like Robert used to. I'm sure in the last 20 or so years they've come a long way since Robert was in the chair. But Dave's in the chair getting the makeup done just like him. And I believe they even had a set of dentures for him to put in. But I guess on the first day of shooting, he actually broke his tooth the first time they put the dentures in. And he was like, oh, great, now we're going to be held up. First day and this is already going wrong. But apparently, as it turns out, the broken tooth worked perfectly with the Freddy makeup. And I guess as Bob Ross would like to say, it was a happy little accident. I would like to point out that this fan film shies away from doing CGI that a lot of big productions use. And they go old school for this one, and they use prosthetics, practical effects, stuff like that to make everything look and feel like old school, basically. And it looks really good. Even the music in this is phenomenal. I mean, at one point there's a scene where they're playing a song that's a pretty iconic Elm Street song, and I'm sitting there and I'm listening and I'm like, oh, this is a nice updated version of, like, an updated cover of this song, and it works really well. And then it hits like the next part and I'm like, wait a minute. This isn't just an updated cover. This is a mix of a couple different songs, and it turned out really good. You wouldn't think it would, but it does, and it's amazing, let me tell you. So when you hear it, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's a mind blower for sure. Now, because I'm a Freddy fan and I did end up contributing to their Indiegogo campaign, I may be a little biased, for sure. But I only picked up the Blu-ray. Nothing too major. If I could afford more, I probably would have done more. If I could get my hands on one of those Dylan's New Nightmare production shirts, that would be dope, because that shirt was freaking cool. It had the old school, like, Nightmare on Elm Street logo on it, and I believe it had the stuffed animal Rex, the dinosaur with the Freddy claw slashes in it. Those were so cool. If you guys are listening, 4X, just so I'm comfortable. But when it comes out later next month in August, towards the end of August, it'll premiere on the Horror Show channel. That's Cecil Laird's channel with his people. And check it out. And for those of you who also contributed to the Indiegogo campaign, I'm not sure if the Blu-ray comes out before or after, but you're all in for a treat. I hope the naysayers are proven wrong. I believe they will be. And if you're already a Freddy fan, you're going to love this. And if you're not, you soon will be a Freddy fan. Way to knock it out of the park, Dave. Way to knock it out of the park, Cecil. Miko, you did fantastic. Loved Ron and Cynthia. You guys did amazing. And I can't wait to watch it again and see some of the behind-the-scenes special features.